Okay, so in summary, before buying a handpan, Steelpan, or steel tongue drum, there's a lot of things you should consider. How much money you want to spend, how musically inclined you are, how in tune you want the drum to be, how long you want your drum to stay in tune, how long you want the notes to sustain, how long you want it, when you hit a note, how long does it go, how loud you want the drum to be, how portable do you want the drum to be. Do you travel around a lot, so you need something smaller, or do you not travel around much, so you just want something big? So all of these kinds of things will affect your decision on what kind of drum to buy. Basically, to recap, the drums are usually either made of low carbon steel or stainless steel, sometimes high carbon steel. Handpan drums like this are made from low carbon steel. They're starting to experiment with stainless steel, but they're not getting the sound out of it that they would like to get. So most people are still sticking with low carbon steel. If you're looking at a handpan and low carbon steel, make sure it's nitrided to help increase the hardness of the steel and also to help retard some of the rust from forming on the drum. A lot of drums, old barbecue tanks are made out of low carbon steel, 14 gauge, so they're about 1.75 millimeters thick. Handpans are 1 millimeter thick, and steel pans are also 1 millimeter thick as well. So that's the low carbon drums. The problem with the old barbecue tanks is the steel has become brittle, and also it's low carbon steel, so it will rust as well. The other type of drum is stainless steel, and you don't have to worry about rust. You don't have to worry about lead content inside the steel, as you have with some low carbon steels, depending on where they're made, may have lead contamination in it. And no worry about rusting, and it's harder steel, stronger tensile strength, and because it's new steel, it's more elastic. In general, the thinner the steel, the shorter the note sustain. That's in general. It also depends on the size of the resonance chamber. But generally speaking, 1 millimeter thick drums, when you hit the note, it doesn't last for very long. The thicker the steel, the longer the drum will stay in tune, and the more sustain you'll get out of the note. So that's on the steel. The hole in the bottom, if it's got like a straight hole in the bottom, is probably made from an old barbecue tank. If it's got a goo hole in the bottom, then it's made from 1 millimeter thick steel, because if it gets thicker, you can't form this hole in the middle. The spacing of the notes is important. The closer they are together, the more interference you get between one note and another. When they're close together, you hit one note and it activates the notes next to it. The further apart the notes are, the better note spacing you have, and the more pure your sound will be when you strike it. When you hit this one, it does not activate the notes next to it because they're too far away. And the coating on the drum, with handpans, there's usually no coating, so you have to worry about rusting. If they're spray painted, most spray paints have VOCs in it, which contributes to greenhouse gases. And some spray paints, depending on what country they come from, have lead in them as well. Etching requires the use of hazardous chemicals, such as some very aggressive acids. And when you're done, now you have acids with dissolved metals in it, which is an environmental problem, and it needs to be treated and taken care of as hazardous waste. Powder coating drums is safe. There's no lead, no contribution to greenhouse gases, and no generation of hazardous waste. So those are some things to look at and think about before you buy a handpan drum, a steel tongue drum, or a steel pan, no matter who makes it. Okay, that's all from Vernon at Vibe Drums. Thank you. Bye.